Here's what's not. TrueCar.com. Save $3,000 off MSRP. He's played 13 NFL seasons. He's been a Pro Bowler. First-round pick, Mercedes Lewis from UCLA. Now a free agent. Just played with Green Bay last year. You know, I always love seeing you. I see you once or twice a year. You played 13 years in the NFL. Do you still love the game?
I love it. I think, it's still a dream that I'm able to live out. The other day somebody asked me, if it was something that you could never stop doing, what would it be? And I always say balling. I love it. I think, you want to go into the engine runs out, and I'm living my dream still.
I push back on the media when non-athletic media members are lecturing football players that your sport is bad. You wake up in the morning. How do you feel? 13 years. And you can block, too. You're a blocker.
Yeah, I feel amazing. I think normal soreness. Your ankles are crack every now and then, but sure. Other than that,
so do mine, by the way.
You know what you sign up for. It's all a part of it.
So you're in Green Bay. It's very interesting. Green Bay is the most unique organization in sports. It's mostly big cities. I mean, St. Louis is a big city. They took a team away, put it in L.A. Green Bay, what was it like, first of all, being a Packer?
I mean, when you think about football, you have to mention the Packers, the tradition. But, I came from a small city, too, in Jacksonville, right? So I went from Jacksonville, got to Green Bay, and I was like, okay, it's all about the football, the cheese, right. The bars, you know what I mean? But, it was just a different experience, getting used to, everywhere you went, it was about the Packers, and I think we kind of use it to our advantage, too, because we get discounts everywhere we go.
Homes don't cost as much there, I can guarantee, as they would playing for the Rams. So, listen, Aaron Rodgers is polarizing. Some guys love him. Other guys have pushed back. So I would say that's his brand. It's like if I said Rush Limbaugh, you think, conservative guy. If I say Whole Foods, you think organic. If I say IKEA, you think cheap furniture. If I say Aaron Rodgers, I think talented and polarizing. Jeff Saturday, a former teammate of him, said this. Let's play the tape. Jeff Saturday talking about the McCarthy-Rodgers thing this year.
You'd be in the huddle and Mike McCarthy would make a play call and you could see Aaron's frustration, right? Whether it be the eye roll or the, I'm going to go run this play, but he would run it, right? Because he was still fairly new in the game when I was there. And so, but as this thing has strung out, the same play calls, the same frustration. The problem is when you replace it with the pieces and parts that have been replaced and there's guys in the huddle that are young, they take that energy, right? They begin to absorb what that looks like. So then everybody begins to question the calls, question what's going to happen, and then it turns into the situation you have right now.
Well, you play with Aaron. He's a rock star. He's an all-time talent. But when Jeff Saturday says that you were there for the McCarthy-Rodgers thing, I don't think I'm being out of bounds saying it was a little tense. You were there.
Yeah, so when I first got there, it didn't seem like it was that bad when I first got there, but I think, as the season went on and, we lost a string of games and I think that's going to create some type of pushback as far as what Aaron wants to run and what Mike McCarthy wants to run. It was like a marriage that kind of ran its course at a certain point, and that's what you got.
By the way, they had a quarterback coach, Van Pelt, in the middle of them. Right. He left. I theorized that Aaron and Mike really needed a go-between, and when they lost the go-between, there was no cushion there, no lubrication in the relationship. Right. Is that possible?
Well, yeah, for sure. When I got there, that was a thing. That was Aaron's guy, and they were really good friends. And
was it Alex Van Pelt? What's the name?
Alex
Van Pelt.
Yeah, it was Aaron's guy, and they had a great relationship. And I think once they let him go, it was kind of like Aaron didn't take that too well, right? And so I always tell young guys coming up too, you're gonna have head coaches. I had 5 in Jacksonville.
My God.
Right?
You had 5?
5 head coaches.
Did you get along with all of them?
Not all of them, but I had 5 head coaches, 2 GMs, 2 owners, a lot of turnover in Jacksonville, always rebuilding, right? And so, I would always say, you're going to have, head coaches here and there, but your position coach is the one you see every day, the one that you really need to have a good relationship with, because when things hit the fan, you need to be able to count on him to go in the room and stand on the table for you. And so I think that was, something that Aaron, when he woke up in the morning, he could hang his hat on that, hey, I'm not going to be able to share everything with everybody, but I know my head coach, we're going to have a good working relationship.
Where I have defended Aaron, because I've been critical of Aaron, but where I've defended Aaron is, listen, you just don't get Aaron Rodgers much. You've been in the league. You got a lot of coaches, a lot of quarterbacks. Aaron is a once-a-decade talent. To go from Favre to Aaron is absurd. That's like going from Michael Jordan and the Bulls drafting Kobe. It doesn't happen.
For sure.
And I do think sometimes they've taken a little advantage of Aaron, not re-signing offensive linemen, not going out. They could have afforded a Khalil Mack. And that's not to say Green Bay doesn't know what they're doing. But is it fair for me to say Aaron's so gifted that maybe because they went from Favre to Aaron, Green Bay just thinks they have the quarterback thing figured out, and at times they haven't quite been as supportive as maybe they could be?
Well, I think that, obviously I only played there for a year. I was in that locker room for, only a year, but just knowing how Aaron kind of moves and knowing his texture and how he, navigates through the locker room and, he is, the most important, person in that building. And I just feel like, a lot of his frustration comes to, just what you were speaking on. But it's just one of those things. Yeah. And who knows? I mean, I don't know if, Aaron is really taking it upon himself to go in the room and be like, hey, I need this, I need that.
Right.
So you don't know where the pushback is coming from. Or if Aaron is just just doing his job and just chilling and they're just going on about their business. I mean, you'll never know unless you're both of them, Yeah,
I mean, Kobe Bryant and MJ would go to the management and yell at him. LeBron wants to be involved. Not every guy wants to. When you say Aaron navigates the locker room, what's he like in the locker room?
Well, first, I think it's good to probably know that he's quiet. He's not a big rah-rah guy. He's super quiet and confident. The way he plays ball is his swag. It's weird. He's quirky. I don't know. To get along with him, you got to be about your business. You got to take football very serious. And if you don't, he's not one of those guys that's going to tell you yo, I'm not messing with you. He's just not going to. It's just like that, right? So you kind of got to get a feel for it that way. And he's the guy that leads by example. And, it's a lot of personal responsibility that you have to take on.
And by the way, I would think he would like you. You're a high-functioning veteran player. I would think guys like Aaron, Tom Brady, Breeze, it could be frustrating bringing in 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids who sometimes are on their device, sometimes aren't all in, sometimes were babied at Alabama or LSU or wherever. I would think you, Jared Cook, Mercedes, you would work with Aaron. Did you feel like he connected with you?
Oh yeah, no, we have a really good relationship, and I'll take you to a story. We were doing a walkthrough, and we were outside having a walkthrough, and it was just a lot of chatter going on, while we were trying to install these new plays. And then after I just kind of called everybody up before we broke it up, and I was like, hey, the season is right around the corner, and it's only one vision, only one goal, and that's to win a championship. And if we're going to do it the right way, when we're in here doing these walkthroughs, we got to be paying attention to taking these mental reps. We can't be out here talking and doing that stuff, and the only one that should be talking in the huddle is Aaron. And that's just what I know. That's just how I've come up. And, I don't normally talk like that, but, when I feel that it's needed, I'll do that. And after that, Aaron kind of pulled me aside. He was like, yo, I appreciate that. I really respect you. You haven't had a guy come in and do that in a long time. So after that, our relationship just kind of grew from there. And, I just try to echo how he feels to the young guys, the guys that I can probably bring along a little more than he could.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, he's got big responsibilities. A big old veteran tight end, Mercedes Lewis, can go over and chop on a guy once in a while. By the way, you face the Bears twice a year. You ever get lined up over Khalil Mack?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's different.
Yeah, I bet.
It's different. He's I'm going in my 14th year. I've seen it all pretty much. I blocked the Julius Peppers, the Dwight Freeneys, the Freak. I blocked everybody, and I think Khalil Mack is a mixture between the strength and grit is a Julius Peppers in his prime, and I don't know, like a Dwight Freeney as far as like being able to move laterally and spin. It is, you just better be in balance. Don't get your head over your toes and make contact with your hands before your face, because he could be from the left side into your right side, the drop of a dime.
How much do you weigh?
Right now, I'm about 269.
And what's he weigh?
I feel like
he can bull rush.
Yeah, but I want to say like 260.
I was going to say
255, 260.
Like he's a load. He'll bull rush.
But his strength is like underrated, I would say. He's low to the ground, great center of gravity, great balance.
Is he a trash talker?
Not really. We didn't really talk too much trash, and like he would line up more like on the left side with the left tackle, but there would be times where he'd come over to the right side, and I'm like, okay. Like, it's like a two chin strap game. You know what I mean? Whenever he's over you, it's a two chin strap game. You know you got to bite down on your mouthpiece and, like, really get the job done. It's going to take everything you got.
Man, so you're going back. You're going to finish your undergraduate degree at UCLA.
Yeah.
It's not easy over there. I couldn't get in.
It's
hard.
They don't cut you no slack.
None.
I'll say that. They don't cut you no slack. And for me, I didn't wear the team issue backpacks and the sweats. Like, I had my JanSport with my normal. At that time in college, I had my pro club sweats, and I sat in the front because I didn't want to be grouped with everybody, and that kind of helped me a little bit at UCLA. But yeah, I got drafted in 2006. When I declared for the draft, all I did was the fall, and so now I'm in there doing my winter, spring, and then I'll be walking next year after the winter.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Are your parents still around?
Yeah, so my mom and my stepfather are married for 27 years. They just got divorced recently. But my mom, it was something that she wanted me to do, but just not, she wasn't on me about it every year, but, it's really for her, so.
Good for you. You're a good dude. I love having you on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And if there's any big controversy, I'm going to call you on the phone. Have to get to the real skinny here. You were real honest today about it, and I love that.
Yeah, holler at me.
All good. Mercedes Lewis. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This